this might be in my top 5 favorite movies of the year so far. And I know that's not going to be the popular pick, but let's talk about Gretel and Hansel. Gretel and Hansel, it was directed by Osgood Perkins, who previously did The Blackcoat's Daughter, which I'm a huge fan of. I think that film is fantastic. So, when I heard he was doing a little darker fairy tale version of Hansel and Gretel, I'm like, hand on table, sign me up, I'm all for it. And little did I figure out, I really like this movie, like, a lot. Sophia Lillis, I think is fantastic. I think she was great in it, and I think she's fantastic in this, and she has a tremendous bright future. She's wonderful. And Alice Krieg, I think she's creepy as all hell as the witch in this. I think she's really awkward, but in a really creepy way, and it works. But for those who don't know what Hansel and Gretel is, or in this case, Gretel and Hansel, it's just an old folklore fairy tale about siblings who go into the woods to find food, and they run into a witch's house who has a complete smorgasbord set out for them. And they go in, and she does her witchy things. And at the end of the tale, she tries to eat the boy. This is one of the best movies visually of the year. This is up there with Swallow. Every shot is just, oof. It's so well done. The lighting makes it look grimy and gritty. The color palette makes it look drab and just like a rundown building, which it kind of is. The costuming is phenomenal. The set design is amazing. Everything about this film visually looks pretty perfect. And it has a weird synth score that kind of works. Like, I was digging it, and then I'm like, this actually adds to make this film uncomfortable. And this is like, I would say it was like marketed as a horror movie. It's not. It's in the line of like The Witch, The Babadook, Hereditary, where it's a different type of horror movie. It's not based on jump scares. It's not based on making you poop your pants. It's not based on making you throw your popcorn all over the place. It, in some aspects, it did remind me of The Witch, which is fantastic because that's might be my favorite film of the last 10 years. But this film plays more on dread and disgust and anxiety more than anything else. So don't expect a Conjuring movie or an Annabelle movie or a Paranormal Activity jump scare-a-thon. It's not that. And I think when people hear horror, they think of that, and I'm going on a tangent. But it's more of a thriller than a horror movie. Just preface going to it like that. And, yeah, I really dug this all around, except the story... It is one of those things where it does such a perfect visual make up for the lack of story in a purely visual medium is where I sometimes struggle with film. Because the story's good, the story's there, the characters are there, but the story hits some low points because it starts off strong to weak, then like around like the 45-minute mark, it really hits its stride of just nonstop. And that can be an issue. And my biggest complaint is the ending is kind of anticlimactic, which sounds weird for a thriller because it's not like an action movie where all that final actually sucked. That was anticlimactic. but it just builds up and then it just kind of like ends it in a really odd way that's not really explained, kind of. But I think he was going for the similar to Blacko's Daughter, where it's up to your own interpretation, which I don't necessarily like in films, but I'll accept it if it's handled well. And I don't know if this handles it well or not, but yeah, the ending, kind of iffy on it. But I really want to rewatch this already, because I could just visually watch this all day. It's just so beautiful. And the performances are all great. And the soundtrack is great. So, Gretel and Hansel. Is it in my top 5 movies of the year? I think so. My top 3 now are Swallow, Onward, and I think Sonic. Yeah, my judging for a film is really whack. Because I take my personal enjoyment and I try my best to combine it with, like, actual film technique and try to find a mid-ground between the two and come up with my final score. Because movies are A, supposed to be well made, and movies are B, supposed to be enjoyable and fun, and escape. So I try to combine them into one. So my judging scale is a bit of a mess, but for me, it makes sense. I'll do a whole breakdown someday for it. But yeah, it's probably my top 5. Actually, it will be in my top 5. Yeah, currently, right now. There's still a lot of films I have to see. I still have to see, like, Bad Boys for Life, The Gentleman, A Way Back, Bloodshot, The Hunt, a ton of movies still. But I'll watch them at some point this year. So, yeah. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and thanks for watching.